You ever watch someone mop the same hallway every night for years? Only to realize one night, she could have written the software running the whole damn building. Yeah, that happened. But by the time they realized it, some were clapping, others quiet as the grave. It was a Thursday night in San Jose, quiet enough that even the vending machine hum sounded like static in an old film. Most of the engineers at AviorNet had cleared out hours ago. Lights dimmed, coffee cups abandoned mid-sip, just flickers from a server rack here and there. CEO Malcolm Dunn wasn't supposed to be there. He'd just gotten back from Washington after hearing whispers that their $200 million defense AI contract was slipping through their fingers. Months of pitching, coding, praying all about to tank. So he drove straight from the airport. No driver, no assistant, just a hoodie, jeans, and the kind of exhaustion you carry in your jaw when hope is running on fumes. As he made his way down the hall toward the R&D lab, something stopped him. Clicking, rhythmic, focused. The lab was supposed to be locked after hours, especially with active test environments running, but the screen was glowing. Someone was typing, not sluggish. Last-minute bug-fix typing. This was fluent, precise. He stepped inside quietly. At the terminal, lit up in shades of blue and green, sat a woman in a navy custodial polo. Janine Bell, the overnight janitor, early 50s, always polite, always quiet. The kind of person you see but don't really look at. Headphones in, name tag crooked, the invisible backbone of the building. Except now she was neck-deep in code that should have been under lock, badge, and NDA. Malcolm didn't speak. Not yet. He watched her fingers dance through data logic like it was second nature. Not guessing. Not fumbling. Rewriting data flow for the central neural model from scratch. Finally, she turned eyes wide but not panicked. Her voice, calm, controlled. "I know I'm not supposed to be here," she said. "But I saw the error rates in the logs. Thought I could help." What followed felt like slow-motion disbelief. She broke down the bottleneck in the AI's ingestion layer, how the model was wasting resources due to recursive sequences that never resolved. She explained the workaround, showed the output, cited MIT open courseware like it was gospel. Malcolm asked, "Where'd you learn this?" She shrugged. "Online, lunch breaks, the public library. I never stopped learning, even when nobody cared if I did." Turns out, she was 2 semesters shy of a computer science degree, dropped out to take care of her younger brother with a disability, spent the next decade cleaning buildings, reading textbooks from thrift stores, and watching lectures between shifts. She fixed in 47 minutes, what 23 engineers couldn't solve in 4 months. But this isn't a fairy tale, because the next morning, when Malcolm called a private meeting with the project leads and said the fix came from Janine, the janitor, the room went cold. Murmurs, smirks. Clayton Reeves, the senior systems architect, chuckled under his breath. "You're kidding. That's a joke, right?" Malcolm didn't laugh. He brought Janine in, same uniform, same calm presence. She stepped up to the whiteboard and rewrote the entire model architecture from memory. One function at a time. Mara, the lead strategist, straightened up. Dev, the project manager, stopped fiddling with his pen. Clayton. He kept arms crossed, until Janine circled a block of code and said, This right here is where the model was choking. Redundant parameters, leaking memory." And suddenly, silence. "When did you do this?" was last night, between 11:45 and 12:32. "Why?" "Because it needed to be done." Malcolm turned to her. "What do you want? You to sit at the table, no charity. Just the chance to earn it." Now you'd think the hard part was over. That competence would speak for itself. But nah, this is real life. By noon, the company wasn't buzzing, it was boiling. Slack threads, kitchen whispers, snide comments in the elevator. They're really giving the janitor access. Must be a PR stunt. What does that say about the rest of us? Malcolm gave her provisional access to the R&D floor. Supervised, monitored. But still, she was there. And that was enough to make some folks furious. The first sabotage was subtle. A corrupted login token, then a missing credentials file. By week's end, someone had wiped her shadow scripts clean off the test server. She didn't cry, didn't complain. She just walked into Malcolm's office and said, "Someone's doing this on purpose." He leaned back, exhaled hard. "You think it's Clayton?" She didn't answer. Didn't have to. That afternoon, Mara spotted her in the hallway, frozen, staring at a terminal. "What's wrong?" Janine pointed. "The last 2 weeks of logs, they're gone." They weren't missing. They were wiped. It didn't take long to trace the fake admin login. Right back to Clayton's machine. Malcolm didn't scream, didn't throw a fit. By 1 p.m., Clayton's badge was deactivated. Security walked him out in silence. Some employees clapped, others turned away. Janine, she just sat down and started restoring the code from memory. Line by line, like breathing. The next morning, an email came in from the Defense Department. They'd reviewed the model. They were impressed. They wanted to meet Janine, alone, private debrief, and they weren't offering a job. They were offering consulting terms. 6 figures, immediate start. She read the message 3 times before walking to Malcolm's office. "They made an offer," she said. "But I want to finish what I started here." Malcolm just nodded, but deep down, he knew. The clock had started ticking. You see, Janine wasn't just a solution anymore. She was a symbol, a walking challenge to everything AviorNet had told itself about talent. Some board members upstairs, they didn't like it. Emails flew. Meetings happened behind closed doors. One exec even said, "This makes us look bad. Like anyone can just walk in and outcode our team." Mara overheard, told Malcolm. He didn't flinch. He called an all-hands meeting. Over 200 employees packed into the auditorium. Malcolm stood at the front. No slides, no sugarcoating. Titles don't build systems, people do. And if someone shows up with a skill, we don't look away because of their job description. Then, turning to the back of the room, "Janine, welcome to the team." She stood, didn't smile, just nodded once, and sat back down. Some clapped, most didn't. But one person, they clapped a little too long. And it wasn't out of support, it was out of spite. By week's end, she had a desk, a badge that said Junior Systems Engineer. But that didn't stop the resistance. A few quietly unfollowed her on the company chat. Some pretended not to hear her in meetings. Others rolled their eyes when she made suggestions only to rephrase them later and take credit. But the hardest moment, when Carl, an older black technician from facilities, someone she used to eat lunch with, caught her in the stairwell. His eyes heavy. "They're watching you now," he said. "You should have kept your head down." She asked, "You too?" He looked down, then away. "I've got a mortgage." Then he walked off. Didn't even say goodbye. Not long after that, one of the younger engineers, Bryce, called her lucky, in front of the whole model ops team. Said if it weren't for Malcolm's diversity play, she'd still be waxing floors. She didn't yell, didn't even respond. But later that night, he found his pipeline bug fixed anonymously. A sticky note on his desk. "You're welcome. Still waxing logic." And then came the board review. Janine sat at the table now. No more walls, no more pretending. She walked them through the update, showed her architecture, no fluff, just logic. When one exec leaned back and said, "You know, you could be leading your own team this time next year." She smiled. "I don't want a team. I want a better system. One where someone like me doesn't have to wait 12 years to be seen." That night, the lab was quiet again. Late Friday, just her, the soft glow of the monitor, and a hum that no longer felt lonely. Her badge opened every door now, and when someone finally asked, "How'd you do it?" she answered the same way every time. "I never stopped learning just because they stopped watching." So, what do you think? Was Malcolm right to give her a seat at the table? Or was the backlash justified? Was it justice or disruption? Let us know in the comments. Who was right? Who was wrong? Would you have stood up or stayed silent? And if you believe talent doesn't wear a uniform, subscribe, and share this story, because someone out there needs to be seen.